Hey, Jamel, everybody said you had one of your best games on Sunday, and you've had to battle injuries, obviously. I know Carlton is battling them. Sean Murphy's Bunting's probably had some. How tough has it been on your secondary, your young group, to try to get, going with everybody having to sort of be in and out of the lineup this year?
I mean, it's tough, but we still have to just stick to our fundamentals and do whatever we can to get the job done.
Right. And to that point, a year ago when Sean Murphy Bunting went into Detroit, his family was there. He got pick six. There was a lot of swag. I know he had some touchdowns thrown on him the other day. What do you say to each other when a bad play happens, or you don't feel like maybe you're playing as well as you should?
I mean, we just tell each other just keep fighting because stuff like that's going to happen in the NFL. You're going to give up plays. You just got
Right.
to just forget it and move on.
Thanks.
I will go to Jamel Dean.
Hey, Jamel. First of all, Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Thank you. Just what was that experience like for you against the Falcons, being down 17-0, knowing that in order for your guys on offense to do what they needed to do to climb within that score, you guys were going to have to be essentially perfect. What lessons can you take from that experience that you can, use going forward in some of these upcoming games for you? Some really big games ahead if you guys make the postseason.
I just feel like the way we played in the second half, we just need to just start off the game like that instead of playing catch up.
How much was communication an issue? I asked Coach Arians. He didn't think it was necessarily that, but I know like early on it seemed like their play actions were working really, really well, even though they didn't necessarily establish the run. It looked like on a couple instances, I know on one occasion it looked like two guys went to the flat. Maybe Sean was expecting a little bit of safety help. How much did you guys have to kind of really buckle down on communication against the Falcons?
It really wasn't much about communication. It was just more about doing your job.
Hmm. Just like being in the right place at the right time and like that sort of thing?
Yeah, just going back to your fundamentals.
Gotcha. Thank you.
All right, we'll go over to Greg Allman.
Hey, Jamal, I know this is just year two for you, but want to ask you, I guess, how much you younger guys, yourself, everybody in the secondary there, can appreciate how long guys like Mike Evans, like Will Golston, like Levante David have been waiting for the chance to have the playoffs here, like you guys almost certainly have here in the next few weeks, and what kind of motivation that is for you.
I mean, it's a great motivation for everybody because this is some of our first time ever even having the opportunity to even make it to the playoffs. And for me, it's something that I always wanted to experience, so I can know what that feeling is like moving forward.
Thanks, Jamal.
I will go to Scott Reynolds.
Hey, Jamel, Merry Christmas to you. It seems like you guys on defense have had more success switching to man coverage in the second half of games like you did against the Falcons. Your background and Carlton's background at Auburn and even Sean's background at Central Michigan was more of press coverage, man coverage schemes. Do you feel like you guys thrive better in man coverage than you do in zone? I know you have to mix it up, but I mean, is that where your comfort level is, more in man coverage?
I mean, I'm comfortable with both coverage, but me just playing corner my whole life, man, is something I always did. So I feel like that's one of my strengths.
And then, they say the old coaching adage is a player's improvement usually is going to happen to a greater degree, going from your first year to your second year. You guys as second-year players, you and Sean and Mike and Devin and Anthony Nelson, didn't really even have an off-season where you guys could hone in on your skills outside of just those Zoom meetings. Do you feel like not having that off-season and not even having a preseason has in some regards maybe stunted your growth or held you guys back a little bit because you didn't have that time to make those adjustments to your own games?
I mean, it would have been nice to have them extra reps, but I can't use that as an excuse. So like it would be nice to have him, but at the end of the day, it's our responsibility to practice our crafts whether we with each other or not.
Thank you, Jamel.
I will go over to Steve Isbitz. If any media have questions, please raise.
Jamel, can you sort of tell us what it's like around the locker room? Are the players talking a lot about the playoffs? Is it the kind of thing where nobody wants to mention it, one game at a time, and you'll celebrate later? What is that like?
I mean, we see like there's a higher chance of getting to the playoffs now. And we talking about like some people saying this is their first time ever making it after being in the league for X amount of years. So it's something big. And then now we just got to take it one game at a time.
And I don't know when you started being an NFL fan, but do you have any recollection at all as a kid of seeing the Buccaneers in a playoff game?
I mean, growing up as a kid, I really didn't ever watch the NFL. I just played football, but I never watched it.
Got it.
All right, we'll close out with a question from John Ledyard.
Jamel, early in the season, you were getting teams pretty good jumping routes. And then there was a couple week stretch where teams started getting wise to it maybe and trying to hit some double moves on you. When you had that time off with the injuries and stuff and you're looking at your tape, evaluating yourself, how do you evaluate that specific aspect in the fine line between being aggressive and wanting to jump routes, make plays on the ball, but also want to make sure you don't get beat on double moves and give up a big play?
I mean, I just had to just see why I went wrong, like mid-play. And I realized that my eyes were like a big issue I was having. So that's why most of those double moves actually occurred, because of bad eyes. So the whole time I had time to really think and reflect on what I've been doing wrong. I actually was able to realize it.
Was it something like, and you say your eyes, was it something like looking at the receivers' releases that you had to adjust where you were looking at?
No, it was just I would look back at the quarterback too soon.
Gotcha. Thank you.
All right, last one's going to come from Jenna Lane.
Along those same lines, John gave me a great lead-in. What games do you feel like this year that you grew the most in? Like, I know that, as John kind of alluded to, it seemed like you were picked on a little bit more against the Giants. And also, I know at times it was a little bit challenging going up against Emmanuel Sanders when you guys played the Saints. What games or what particular players do you feel like really kind of forced you to grow even more this year?
I mean, it really much wasn't that. It was just I had my coaching staff would just kept coaching me on my just kept correcting me on what I'm doing wrong. So I really.
So there weren't any. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
It wasn't like a team or a person, a specific person that helped me grow. It just the coaching.
Gotcha. Thank you.
All right, that's all for today. Thanks, Jamel.